Hello, this video will be covering the rehab exercises of the anterior cruciate ligament injury, also known as the ACL injury, which limits the flexion and extension movements of the knee. Our exercises will be aimed to maintain the range of motion, strength, proprioception of the knee. We will provide 3 exercises and 4 parameters for each goal.
To maintain the range of motion, an introductory leg lift exercise will be performed in order to slowly progress movement of the knee. He or she begins by holding onto the wall for support. By flexing the knee, the patient can gradually stretch and increase the flexibility of the anterior cruciate ligament. To perform this exercise, the patient will lift his heel off the ground toward his glutes. Once the patient has reached his full range of motion without feeling pain, the patient can then bring his heel back to the ground, and he or she can repeat this movement for 2 sets of 6 repetitions. This can last 4 to 5 minutes. We're going to have to To increase the complexity of the first movement, the patient can then perform knee lifts. In doing so, the patient will lift their heel off the ground toward their glutes. However, this time the patient will also bring the knee toward the ceiling simultaneously. They can also begin by holding onto the wall for support. With the addition of the knee to ceiling movement, the patient will be able to experience a greater challenge while exerting both movements through the knee's range of motion. They will repeat this for 2 sets of 6 repetitions. This can last 5 to 10 minutes. To begin with the next exercise, the patient will perform a sitting leg extension. This exercise consists of the patient started in a seated position. The patient will then lift their foot and point their toes toward the ceiling. This exercise will help the knee extension's range of motion. They will repeat this exercise for 2 sets of 10 repetitions for roughly 10 minutes. We will now move on to the strengthening component of the rehab program. The first exercise our patient will perform is a sitting leg extension with resistance. Similar to the seated leg extension, the patient will be seated in a chair. They will then tie one end of the resistant band to the chair and the other end to their leg. They will then slowly extend their leg until the end of their range of motion. This exercise will help strengthen the extension of the knee by providing resistance. This will be performed for 2 sets of 6 repetitions and then progress to 3 sets of 8 repetitions for roughly 5 to 10 minutes. To complete a lunge, the patient will start in an upward position with their shoulders back and their head facing forward. They will then take a step forward with one leg while keeping the other leg in the original position. The patient will bend their front knee as well as their back knee simultaneously until it almost touches the ground. The patient has the option of using the wall for support. This exercise helps strengthen the muscles associated to the knee, such as the quadriceps and hamstring muscles. This exercise will be done for 2 sets of 5 repetitions, and then it will increase to 3 sets of 8 repetitions for roughly 5 to 10 minutes. The third exercise of the strengthening component will be a squat. The patient will stand with their feet shoulder width apart with the toes pointed slightly outwards. They will keep their head facing forward and then slowly lower their body by bending their knees until it reaches 90 degrees or until the end of their range of motion. This exercise strengthens the muscle that support the knees, such as the quadriceps and the hamstrings. This exercise will be done for 2 sets of 5 repetitions and then progress to 4 sets of 6 repetitions for roughly 5 to 10 minutes. We will now move on to the proprioception portion of our rehab. The first proprioceptive exercise will be the single leg bicycle swings. The patient will lift his knee up to 90 degrees, then he will extend his leg while keeping it in the air. The patient can use the wall for support. This exercise helps with agility and balance of the knee. This will be done for 2 sets of 5 repetitions and then progress to 3 sets of 8 repetitions for roughly 5 to 10 minutes. The patient will begin on his toes, lifting one knee after the other towards the ceiling. He will then proceed in a skipping motion by bouncing forward off his toes. This will help improve the patient's balance and improve proprioception. This will be done for 2 sets of 5 repetitions and then progress to 3 sets of 16 repetitions for roughly 10 minutes. The final exercise of our rehab will be unilateral toe touches. The patient will lift one heel toward his glutes. He will then lower his body down by slightly bending his other knee and reaching for the ground. The patient can use the wall for support. This exercise will help improve balance and stability of the muscles of the knee. The exercise will be done for 2 sets of 6 repetitions and progress to 3 sets of 8 repetitions for roughly 10 minutes.